I'm ready for all today, through all the pain, all the way, the fight for all, my life, the love, we're taking it all the way, all the way.
Dynasty season is back, and the best part of the year has finally approached. We got drafting season, whether it's dynasty drafts, the rookies, of course, that's always fun, deep and diving, digging into those players. And then, of course, in a couple more weeks, a couple more months, depending how risky and finesse you are with your league, of course, we got the redraft drafts going on, and those are also my favorite as well. And of course, today is a special episode because we got two guests up here in the building. Of course, we got Mr. Chris Allen in the call. Chris, how you doing over here?
I'm doing quite well, Nader. Like, it's been, I forget even the last time we got a chance to sit down and chop it up. So just a chance to do that again, it's going to be awesome to be able to talk ball with you. So, man, let's get to it, bro.
Of course. You know what? If I remember personally, last time I think I had you on for an episode, and we talked about the redraft busts. If I remember properly,
that's right. Yeah, that is what it was. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So of course, whenever I have you on, I get a little excited inside because the episode is always a phenomenal one. But of course, we also have another special guest with us, Mr. Tippmajor. I don't know if you have a special way you want me to call you. Is Tip good?
Yeah, Tip's fine, bro. Yeah, hell yeah.
Tip. All right. So of course, Tip, what program are you from more specifically? I don't know too much about you. I know we talked a handful of times on X or Twitter, whichever one you want to call it.
Oh man.
Sore subject.
I am no. It's a great it's like I'm a part of a lot of different. I kind of got my hands, and I got two hands, but I've kind of got like 8 of them in different cookie jars. It's like, it's crazy, bro. So I'm a part of 32-bit. I work with the cookout team, with Chris. I'm really Nick Stan. That's my guy. That's the one I'd really talk to a lot. I'm a part of this company. It's called the Sports Affiliation. And let's see, High Point Content Creation Team. I do Raiders correspondence with them. I might be also working with Sunday Morning Quarterback, which is my guy Sosa. We'll be talking with him soon. There's a few other ones, man. I don't want to disrespect them. I also do a space on X with Bob Harris of Football Diehards, or now Football Guys. But I do a space with Bob Harris. We do that. We started that last year every Monday, right before Monday Night Football. And man, I'm just so blessed and so excited to be on. But yeah, man, I kind of got my hands in a bunch of little jars right now of cookies, and but all of them are like fresh, really nice baked cookies. None of them are stale, nasty cookies. So that's what's up, bro.
Yes, I mean that is a lot of different programs. I'm actually kind of jealous a little bit. We're gonna have to deal with this later. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this later. Now, so cookies are always good, right? But Snickerdoodle's the best one, and I don't want to hear anybody complain about this one. Snickerdoodle cookies are the best ones.
Yeah, no hate on Snickerdoodles.
Nah, Snickerdoodles are good.
Yeah.
Chocolate chip
the cookies I'm in.
Chocolate chip is also up there. Macadamian is close. Macadamian ones are also good ones as well.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, as long as there's no raisins in it. If there's no raisins in it, or if you do like raisins, I'm sorry, like it's just not gonna work out.
Nader, I'm gonna do you one better because my girlfriend, she introduced me to this, and I am a big oatmeal raisin fan.
Oh my god!
And I'm a big chocolate chip fan. So she introduced me to, and I think it's Betty Crocker. They make a oatmeal chocolate chip. Bro.
Okay.
Like, oatmeal chocolate chip.
Like that.
I'll try it.
I'll try it. Blew my mind. I I was sitting there eating the dough. It was so freaking good, bro. Like, and I'm not like, I know you're not supposed to eat it, but it was that good.
YOLO.
And I was like, where in the hell has this been all my life? And when she baked the cookies were phenomenal, bro. Like, but I know we got off into a cookie tangent. But yeah, man, I oatmeal chocolate chip. You guys got to try it out there.
As long as there's no
Oatmeal
raisins in
chocolate
it, I'll
chip.
try it.
I'm sold.
No, there's no raisins. It's just oatmeal with the chocolate chip in it.
I'm gonna look up a recipe like right now.
Yeah. Shout out to Betty.
Chris, and we know you got the food app, man. Look, Chris did you fried those ribs the other day?
Oh yeah, man. I do. Yes, smoked fried ribs, man. That's
Guys, you're making me hungry. I don't like this.
I still haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm making myself hungry.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right. Shout out to Betty Crocker. Anybody remember those 2000s commercials of the Betty Crocker cake where you can like put the top on it and then you fill it in the inside?
Yeah.
You remember those?
Yeah,
I remember that. That was a blast from the past. But all right. Back to fantasy football. So right now, what we're doing in this episode is I have a rookie draft rankings. And last time I had people on this one, we actually got into an argument to the point where we don't speak anymore. But you know what? I'm just gonna call it out right now. Like I was right, they were wrong. Like I'm just gonna say how it is. I was right. Like that's just how it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Even if I'm wrong, I'm still wrong. I mean, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
So of course, right now we have rankings. Right. I have created a rankings. We're talking about right now. 1 QB, half point to full point PPR. Realistically, it doesn't change the rankings that much at all. I'm just gonna have a list of it for you guys, and then you guys are going to be able to argue with me, debate, agree, or so on and so forth. Are you guys okay with that so far?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to start it off with 101 right now, and this one I think it's kind of obvious. Marvin Harrison Jr. Like I could try to come up with a hot take and not put him on there, but he goes on there. How do you guys feel about that?
Tip, you go first.
I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I like him a lot. I think you're right as far as him being the 101. But I will say this. This is an offense ran by Kyler Murray, and I love Kyler Murray this year. I think he is going to be one of the comeback players of the year for fantasy, right? I will say this. You also have Trey McBride over there. You got Wilson over there as well. You got some mouths. You got a couple of mouths. I like Malik Neighbors just a little bit, and don't laugh. Stop laughing, everybody, because I know Danny Dimes or Danny Dollars or Danny Pennies, whatever you want to call him. I know he is the one throwing him the ball, but I can easily see this kid eclipsing 150 targets, 170 targets year one. That is who he throws to. I mean, you got Jalen Wyatt, you've got Wan'Dale Robinson over there as well. Do we have Darren Waller? I don't know. He's over there making music videos now. He's not necessarily, it seems to me like he's in football mindset right now. You got Bellinger as well as his backup tight end. The running game is taking a big dip, if you ask me. So I think that Malik Neighbors has a shot to be the go-to guy in this offense. And look, you still got Brian Daboll there, but you cannot deny the talent of Marvin Harrison Jr. The pedigree's there, the talent's there. He's going to get a lot of targets as well. I don't know, man. I like Malik Neighbors. And this is one other reason why I really like Malik Neighbors. This kid has a little bit of wiggle, bro. Like, and when I say wiggle, it's like this dude can run fast, like straight line speed, but he's got a little wiggle to him that is like really, really cool to watch.
Mm-hmm. Chris, help me out here. Give me an opinion.
It has to be Marvin Harrison. At least for me, it's Marvin Harrison. Just looking at his career, like college statistics, like from a yards per route run standpoint, he's one of the few wide receivers that have come out in the past like 10 years that have like top 5 marks in both like against both man and press coverage. Just last season alone, his career adjusted like receiving yards like per team pass attempt is one of the highest that's been tracked. I think it's like either second or third, like behind like some of like the greats. Even just like, so even take out all the stats, because y'all know I'm just gonna like rattle off stats until like I'm blue in the face. That's my thing. But
oh, yeah.
I think like the easiest way to look at it is like the man, like for as like from an athletic profile standpoint, like being as tall as he is, and for as large as he is, and it's not just the fact that he fits the mold of your prototypical like X receiver. I mean, he looks the part of, and I'm just saying because I'm a homer, like everybody know, well, most folks that have followed my content and just know who I am. Like I went to school down in Cincinnati. One of my favorite players of all time is Adriel Jeremiah Green, AJ Green, for the folks that don't know. And Marvin Harrison just looks like almost a straight clone of him. The way he moves, just his build and everything. He can play on the outside. He can win on the outside. He can play in the slot. He has the route, the route acumen to win at all three levels of the field. While I see the same thing for Neighbors and being able to win like at all three levels of the field, he's not affecting the same game in terms of being able to just like take over a game and just like, nah, like we're just going to win like right now. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. can. The stats back it up. The tape backs it up. At least for me personally, that's just like, I would take Marvin Harrison like 101 overall, like without too much hesitation.
Now, there are cases for Neighbors to be number one potentially, and most of it is situation because one, Kyler Murray is injury prone, and once he goes down, it just becomes a cluster in the quarterback position. Two, situation for the Giants where they don't necessarily really have a pass catcher to compete with Neighbors, and because of that, somebody might consider the situation to be better for Neighbors. But you also have to look at the division that he's currently in. The Giants play in a much tougher division defensively, and more specifically defensive back wise than the Cardinals, because one, Ramsey's gone from the Rams, so realistically an elite cover corner is gone from that division. And on the Giants division, the Eagles just drafted, what was it, like 3 different corners. The Cowboys, they got elite set of corners. The Commanders probably have like maybe a semi-weaker set. I can't really think of any corners on the top of my head, but usually in that division, defensively, they're pretty sound. And because of that, he's going to have difficult matchups on a consistent basis with teams with strong pass rushers as well. And the Giants, they've never been known to have a good offensive line. So on that reason, I had to demote him slightly to number 2. Personally. The Cardinals, they invested in it. They are an air raid offense. And that's why I felt pretty comfortable with Marvin Harrison Jr. as 101. Does that sound fair, guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Like it is fair. I don't think you're wrong either way. Marvin Harrison, yes. The only thing I didn't hear you say, Nader, is Trey McBride. I think Trey McBride is gonna be a focal point in this offense. And is that going to take away from? I'm not going to say that he'll be the number 1 target, but he will be featured in this offense. We saw it last year. Now, was that because of Hollywood injury? Was that because of some other injuries in the wide receiver room? Possibly, but I think that they build a chemistry, a rapport, Kyler Murray and Trey McBride, that I think that, Harrison will build as well, but it might take a little bit of time. Acclimated to the league, acclimating to the chemistry. Murray might feel a little bit more comfortable with McBride just to start off the season. Once the season starts to move along, then we'll start to see a lot more Harrison. But that's my only thing, I think, just right away. Whereas Neighbors, he is really your only shot. It's like, dude, that's my only thing. But I don't think you're wrong. I think you are right on the spot. Chris is right on the spot. Harrison's a monster, bro. He is a monster.
Yes, Mr. Chris.
Well, I would say that the only pushback I would give to that is to say that Neighbors does have target competition, but he doesn't have like the same like level of target competition. Yeah. So I'd say like for Trey McBride, Trey McBride is a significant target earner. Like we saw that like last season. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no two ways about it. And then he's also got and we consider players like this to be more ancillary pieces, but still Greg Dortch is there, Michael Wilson is there. Other guys that can soak up targets, run routes, and earn targets as well. The same thing exists for Neighbors on the Giants. It's just that they're lesser at least in our eyes from a fantasy standpoint, but still they offer tactical value like on the field. Darius Slayton still offers tactical value like on the field because he can still run the routes that are going to like pull defensive attention. Like safeties are going to have to honor like his speed and the deep threat. We don't know what Jalen Hyatt, a guy that they already spent early round draft capital on just last season. We don't know what his second year development is going to be. Like development is not linear. While he did not turn into the prospect that we watched, like all those skills did not immediately translate. It could have been because he was playing with a terrible quarterback or three terrible quarterbacks throughout the entirety of the season because he had to play with Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor for a half second, and then also who was it? Danny Dime or not Danny Cutlets.
Yep. Mr. Italian.
Yeah. So it's like that could contribute to the fact that we didn't see a lot of Jalen Hyatt. Then of course they still have Wan'Dale Robinson like kicking around there. We don't know what the tight end situation is going to look like, but Bellinger in his first season before Waller came along, he was earning targets. So it's just like I see your Trey McBride, but then I raise you all of these others like smaller ancillary pieces that Neighbors also has to deal with. And he also has like direct competition at his position. I mean, Neighbors has Jalen Hyatt, Rondale Robinson, and also Darius Slayton. Like, while not high-end target earners, but they're enough to pull away so that let's say, 10, 11, 12 target game for Neighbors won't come all that often because he'll get 8 to 9, and then Wan'Dale's going to get his 4 to 5, and then Darius Slayton you might see a 2 to 3 to Darius Slayton, and of course Jalen Hyatt's going to get his bomb like 1 to 2 bombs down the field. Whereas for Marvin Harrison Jr., it will be, of course, like he'll get his 12 target games. You can also see the scenario where Trey McBride is still getting his at 9 to 10 targets. And then Michael Wilson is going to be the guy that's going to be working downfield. He gets a few targets, and then Greg Dortch might get a few targets, but it's not as they won't take away as much from the passing game, especially considering they're playing in a more up-tempo, higher pass rate over expectation offense in Arizona than they are in New York. So that's my pushback would be that while Trey McBride is definitely going to be a factor, he showed that he's going to be a high target earner. They don't have while there's just like one high target earner for Arizona, there are multiple lesser target earners for the Giants.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought up Greg Dortch, because I think that he's going to have a sneaky good season. He's not going to be one of those guys who's going to be. I feel that the consistency it might not be there, but I do like. It's one of the reasons why I think they got rid of Rondale Moore, because they looked at this Greg Dortch guy and was like, we got a guy who's more durable, who stays on the field, catches the ball, does what Rondale Moore was supposed to do, and I really like him this season. But wait, we're talking rookies, so
yeah, right.
Later. This is fun.
Yeah. So real fast, just to throw out a couple quick statistics for fun. I'm sure a lot of people forgot Joshua Dobbs started 8 games for the Cardinals. He threw 266 passes. Kyler Murray played the other 8, and he threw also 268 passes. So there's about 500 passes in that offense going into next year. So Trey McBride had about 80 receptions. There's more than enough for another pass catcher in that offense. But all right. So that takes care of 1 and 2. 3, and this midsection is probably where it gets interesting. I don't want to take too much time in the beginning of it, just because I feel like the end of it is going to take a little bit more time. But number 3 is going to be Rome Odunze. I just felt like he is close up to the 3 to 2 spot, and I didn't feel like running back like Jonathan Brooks was good enough or situationally good enough, considering he's coming off of an ACL tear, to be the number 3 slot. Considering if you're the number 3 pick, you need an immediate plug and play type of player. But Chris, help me out here.
No, I'm with that. Just given the draft capital that he received, like going to the Bears, I know the situation isn't all that great, but if we are talking about it from a dynasty standpoint, how many more seasons do we really have of Keenan Allen, like good Keenan Allen, ahead of us? And then also the fact that Odunze can play like both in the slot, like he was a little bit more efficient when he was kicked inside, also can play outside, where we know that Keenan Allen is the one that's going to be typically man the slot. Like that's just where he's at, like at this point in his career. So if you're still going to put DJ Moore as your wide receiver 1, like almost, but used in the same way that not your typical X receiver, not the one that's going to primarily play on the outside. He can move inside almost like the same way that my Bengals deployed Jamar Chase. But if he can still, you're still going to have and if you're still going to use primarily, not primarily, but the Bears, now that they have Shane Waldron, who came over from Seattle actually used 2 wide receiver sets at a fairly high rate. So I'm not even sure that Keenan Allen is going to be out there running a ton of routes in his first season, like in this season, as compared, it could be Odunze. It could be DJ Moore and Rome Odunze out there. If Odunze winds up winning that wide receiver 2 spot, or at least he's going to be the wide receiver 2 in 2 receiver sets, just given what we know of what the college skills that he showed on tape. So I'm definitely with that from a dynasty standpoint, because we know that even if they do throw out 3 wide receiver sets, that Odunze is going to be out there, being tied to the number 1 overall pick in this past year's draft, and Caleb Williams is obviously going to be a good situation, a good setup long-term for him. And then, of course, if you look at just past the 2024 season in the 2025 and 2026, we assume that Keenan Allen is going to either be not on the team or at least fading away from the team in terms of the number of targets that he's going to earn and be a part of that offense. Then, yeah, having him at number 3. Yeah, having him at 3, that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. Tip, what you got?
So Chris, so do you think that Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze will be, I don't want to say part-time players because I don't think that's a good word, but do you think that they will be sharing the field, or sharing snaps? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, because I think they're the way that they can be used, at least immediately. So in the first 4 to 6 weeks, there's enough of an overlap between their skill sets that I don't think there's any way we can be for certain that if they switch to using 2 wide receiver sets, that it's going to be the vet in Keenan Allen that's going to be the one that's out there, especially once Odunze picks up the speed of the game, understands all the concepts, gets that rapport with Caleb Williams, which Keenan Allen also has to establish because that's a new quarterback for Keenan Allen as well. That at least gives some uncertainty to the point where we can't just assume Keenan Allen is going to be that dude, the same dude that he was with Justin Herbert in Los Angeles, with Phillip Rivers when he was still in Los Angeles. We just can't expect that. We should have confidence in saying that because we have seen him do it before, but there shouldn't be that expectation, especially now that he has direct competition at that position in a younger player that can play just as well. At least we saw from a collegiate standpoint, he could play just as well and has the speed, has the contested catch ability. I mean, can work in the same way that Keenan Allen did.
Okay, so Nader, I'll go ahead. This situation makes me nervous. I mean, it's kind of a good nervous because I like Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's a receiver I enjoy watching. I love how cerebral he is. And then I love Rome Odunze. Every game I watched with him playing last year with Michael Penix Jr., it was fun to watch. The kid, it's got it. So I know that it's there. It's just, Chris just talked about it. The speed of the game, the learning the offense. This is the NFL. This is a different animal than what Rome Odunze has been a part of. So that makes me a little nervous. Again, dynasty. We're talking dynasty here, so I have no problem with him being number 3. I'm a little nervous about the target share. Just for the simple fact. I mean, look, you've got DJ Moore, you've got Keenan Allen now, and you also got Gerald Everett they brought over there. They're going to be throwing passes to Swift, DeAndre Swift. You still got, there's a lot of people that can catch the ball there. And there's only one football, and it's a rookie. I like Caleb Williams, but it's a rookie. It's division. That's a tough division. It's getting better. The division's getting better. You're playing in the Windy City. You're playing in Chicago. The weather's not going to always be the greatest like it was in Southern California. It's just a lot of things that, maybe the first 8 weeks of the season, 9 weeks of the season, you're good. But, man, once that hawk comes in, and you guys know what I mean by that hawk, because, I mean, I've been to Chicago. I'm pretty sure some of the people listening have been to Chicago. Hell, there's a hawk that's in that wind. I was in Chicago in July last year, and there was a wind. There was a hawk, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" It's just something that I'm just aware of. Caleb Williams is athletic, but he doesn't run enough. In scramble drills, things like that. That's why I really like Justin Fields there. But hey, we're not talking about that. But I'm not mad at Rome Odunze because I think overall, yes, he will be that guy. He will be that guy. 2025, 2026, 2027. Yes, I feel like that'll be Rome Odunze. Next year though, I'm a little bit leery. I'm trying to piece it together. It's been really fun trying to look at it. And I think that it's something I would want to stay clear of right now. But I will say this, in the next couple of years, you are going to be very, very happy that you have Rome Odunze on your squad.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this is dynasty-wise. And if you're pick number 3, chances are you're probably not going anywhere next year. So you're probably going to accumulate another semi-early round pick. And from there, you can kind of decide if you want a running back or not. Now, if you really feel like you need a running back, then obviously Jonathan Brooks would be the pick that you'd want to take at number 3. Realistically, right now, I have him as the pick 4. And, realistically, it becomes situationally on which one your team needs in that point. But I rate them very identically. So it is interchangeable at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So real fast, right now we got 1 Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors 2, Rome Odunze 3, and I just said Jonathan Brooks 4. I don't want to spend too much time on Jonathan Brooks just because he is on the Panthers. The Panthers aren't very great, but he is going to be situationally the RB1 there once he is healthy, and because of that, he is going to be the RB1 in a dynasty draft, and because of the touches and the volume, you can't. I feel like it's not really necessarily arguable of him not being a high dynasty draft pick. Is that fair?
I think Carolina's going to surprise us, guys. Look at that division. It's not the strongest division. I think Carolina's going to – I love Dave Canales, man. Look at what he's done the last 2 quarterbacks that he's had. And we can all agree they're very talented quarterbacks. But Bryce Young was dealt an unfair hand, if you ask me, in the situation he was put in. I know he's, 5'10" on a good day. They did get 2 guards this offseason. I think that's going to help them a little bit. I really, really, really am excited about this offense, man. They've got some good pieces on wide receiver. I do agree. Jonathan Brooks is the most talented out of those, but he's dealing with an injury. You still got Chuba Hubbard there. You still got Miles Sanders, which, I mean, come on now. At this point, Miles Sanders is not been good to us, but he's still got a little bit of talent there. But I think this offense is going to surprise.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Chris, do you have any closing remarks on Jonathan Brooks, or is he a straightforward pick?
See, I don't know. I think the problematic portion with Jonathan Brooks, at least compared to the other rookies that would be available like at that particular spot, because I have no problems with Jonathan Brooks like as a prospect. I mean, target shares like just over, if I'm remembering right, like over like 10% like in back-to-back seasons or thereabouts. I mean, so from a running back standpoint, like that's what you, from a fantasy standpoint, that's what you want, like your running backs. And of course, like we know that he has the power from missed tackles force, like per carry rate, adjusted yards after contact per carry rate. I mean, each of the metrics sticks out. I mean, he fits the mold of like the Jonathan Taylors or Saquon Barkley's. I mean, like from a rushing standpoint. Mm-hmm. I go back to like the other guys that are currently on the board. We know that at least as of right now, not just because of the injury, but because of his situation, not because of the Panthers. I'm with Tip on the fact that honestly, like outside of like if you were to take off like the label, if you were to take off and have like no names attached to it, and you couldn't even look at the logo, and you just like walk through all the changes that the Panthers have made like over this offseason, they would probably be one of the most improved offenses in the entire league, like just right behind the Bears, with what Tip was talking about in terms of what they did to the offensive line. Bring in Dave Canales, which I 100% agree with Tip that is a solid move. Fits, I think, the way that Canales can build this offense and really harness the strengths of Bryce Young and also the pass catchers that they've put around him. Solid moves across the board. But again, for Jonathan Brooks, the fact that he's going to have to deal with not one but 2 other running backs. I mean, we can say that, yeah, he's Jonathan Brooks, and He has all these traits, and he was so great, and he should be the one that gets all the touches the moment that he's healthy. But I mean, they retained Miles Sanders after just outright benching him last year.
Yeah,
they still have Chuba Hubbard. I mean, they still have, and they also went out and they signed Rashad Penny for essentially a penny.
Yep.
I mean, for how much they paid for him. I mean, so they brought in these other guys, knowing that they have Jonathan Brooks, and we're already like, so regardless of what the team, like what the offense looks like, it could be good, bad. They could be the next Chiefs or whatever. They could be this year's or like last year's Carolina Panthers again. But with what the team has done in terms of continuing to add to that backfield, I'm less inclined to say that this is going to be a Brooks coming out party in 2024. That we're going to get the touches that we want for Jonathan Brooks compared to the other guys that are still the other prospects that are still on the board. I would say give me Trey Benson.
Yes,
over Jonathan Brooks.
Yes. Oh,
I can see a direct path to Trey Benson getting touches this year, and a lot of them, given the fact that he's going to be playing in what we know to be a better offense right now in terms of like for the Arizona Cardinals, playing with a much better quarterback in Kyler Murray, and playing behind just one guy in James Conner that we know is prone to get. I don't want to use. Nope, take that back. Because I say the word injury prone, and I know that Edwin Porras is going to like hop out of of the nearest device and choke the shit out of me. But I will say that like he gets
nicked
hurt.
up. He can get nicked up.
He often gets hurt and misses games. So give me Trey Benson over Jonathan Brooks at this point. So that's my only concern about Jonathan Brooks. Great prospect. Think he's going to, at least in the long term, he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to want to have on your roster. But just given some of the other rookies that are still available on the board right now, putting him at 4 is a little high for me.
Who would you rather see?
Oh, yeah, that was going to be my question. Go ahead, Chris.
Like over Jonathan Brooks?
Yes.
Give me Trey Benson. If I'm just going running back for running back. Okay. If I want to go like wide receiver, give me the little fast guy that's going to be catching passes from Patrick Mahomes.
He was going to be my 5th round. He was going to be right after Jonathan Brooks.
Okay. Well then, yeah, give me either one of those two guys that like in position for position. I know Trey Benson's going to be getting touches this year, and then again, I'll take the little fast dude that ran the super fast at the combine is going to be catching passes from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. So I was. The problem is in dynasty and in fantasy teams, right? You could have solid wide receivers, and you could be running back needy. Like in one league, I am running back needy, and I'm probably reaching for a running back and leaving somebody like Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr., Keon Coleman, stuff like that on the board, just because like I don't necessarily need a wide receiver. I need a running back. So in those moments this is kind of one of those moments where you're pick 4 in your dynasty league. You have a big need to fill. Chances are it's going to be running back.
I guess, but if you're going to reach for a running back, I mean, why would you reach for, like, if you say you're running back needy, I would assume that means you're running back needy for this year. So why would you go running back that you know is going to have out of most of the class is going to have the least amount of touches? If you're going to be running back needy and you need that, and if you want to reach and you need those touches now, why wouldn't you reach for somebody like, I don't know, like Blake Corum?
Now, while that is true, my rebuttal to that is you are still pick 04 in the draft. A running back that gets you 100 to 70 fantasy points probably doesn't put you in playoffs this year specifically. So, I mean, you're still looking towards next year or the year after that, which is why I think Jonathan Brooks provides maybe even Trey Benson. You are correct there. Now that I think about it, Trey Benson also provides potential more long-term fantasy point potential.
Blake Corum was a stretch, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to reach for somebody and you're looking for a guy that's going to give you touches, I mean, the smarter thing to do would be just to trade back out of the 104, grab your first rounder for next year, slide back, 6, 7, 8 spots, and then grab Blake Corum. That'd be the smart thing to do.
That would be. Go ahead, Tip.
Oh, I was going to add something just real quick. When you're playing Dynasty or redraft, when you're playing fantasy football, your goal is to win now. Your goal is to win the year that you are playing. You are going to be doing yourself a mad disservice if you are looking 2, 3, 4, 5 years ahead in a dynasty league, because these players are going to get hurt. These players are going to maybe not pan out. You wish and hope and pray that they don't, but that's just the reality of football. So I am in agreement with where Chris is coming from, because why put all your eggs in this basket of Jonathan Brooks when he's banged up? He's got 2 guys in front of him. He's got what I think and what Chris thinks is a good offense, or a better offense than it was last year, but we truly, truly don't know. Mm-hmm. So, why not go for the for sure thing? And I agree. I think Trey Benson, that was the guy that I was looking at coming, this year, while everybody was talking about Jonathan Brooks, and very well they should be, but he's coming off of a really bad injury. But if I can give my 4th guy just real quick, because Chris started talking about his Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm not gonna get on any show or space or anything and not talk about my Raiders and what they've done, and that they beat the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna talk about my Raiders just a little bit. And what I want to say is Brock Bowers needs to be number 4. I know Michael Myers there. I know, I get it. I know Devontae Adams is still there. I know, I get it. But Brock Bowers, guys, dynasty-wise, this guy is a guy who can just catapult your team over the course of a few years. Once they get the situation of their quarterback fixed, and that might be the thing, Nader, why you kind of pulled back, because we don't know their quarterback situation. They got a really good bridge quarterback in Minshew Mania, but they also got AOC Aiden O'Connell there too. So, but I'm putting Brock Bowers at number 4, man. I did like Brian Thomas. I like that we talked. His name was mentioned, but I think I gotta go Brock Bowers, bro. That's just me.
So I'll be honest with you. We're gonna talk about Brock Bowers a little bit later. I'm gonna veto Brock Bowers at 4.
So he's down the list then.
Yeah, he's down the list. Yeah, he's down the list. He's down the list. Yeah, we'll talk about him. We'll talk about him later. He's down the list.
All right,
and for good reasons. We'll talk about Bowers when we get there. We'll talk about him when we get there.
All right.
And right now, okay, so we're gonna veto Jonathan Brooks at 4, and it looks like Xavier Worthy. He stepped up to the plate. He's batting cleanup.
I'm with
he's
that.
4.
Okay. I like that.
We'll shove Brooks downward a little bit, and then we'll get to him when we get to him. Okay. So Xavier Worthy, he's congratulations. You jumped up the spot. We don't have to talk about him much. You're fast. You're with Patrick Mahomes. You're with Andrew Reid.
That's easy enough.
Congratulations.
Easy.
It's easy. It's not that hard. Just pick him. All right. So he's 4. And 5. Okay, so we can either keep Jonathan Brooks at 5, or we can keep shoving him downwards and then just consistently raise the draft picks back up.
Down.
I'd say down. I go down one more.
One more. All right. So we'll go one more. And right now we are going to go. All right, you guys are going to laugh at me at this one, but I went Ladd McConkey.
Oh, I'm not laughing. I think that's good. I like him. I think that's good.
Situationally, I went with him because I felt like, all right, you know what? They need a pass catcher. I like Justin Herbert. I like John Harbaugh, and they don't necessarily have too much going on over there.
I like Brian Thomas more, but I'm not mad at that. I think I will say this: they do need a pass catcher, right? But they already got pass catchers there. They just have Joshua Palmer been banged up. He's good when he's on, but he's been banged up. Then you get this kid Quentin Johnson. I absolutely loved him coming into last year. And I thought that he was going to learn under Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I thought that this was going to be a really good fit for him. And then he does what he did. And I'm not even going to talk about it. We can all see it. We've all seen it. And we've all laughed about it. But, I mean, I think Quentin Johnson might have a nice little bounce back this year. But I'm not mad at the Ladd McConkey. I think it's a good fit. My only thing is Harbaugh. Now you got Greg Roman running the offense as well, so they are going to run the ball. That is their MO. And now you got J.K. Dobbins, you got Gus Edwards, who also ran with or under Greg Roman. So it's like a little Baltimore, West Coast Baltimore. It's gonna be fun to watch. I hope and pray that J.K. Dobbins is healthy. I actually work with a relative of J.K. Dobbins. I just found that out because I was like, "Hey, your last name's Dobbins," and he had a Baltimore Ravens helmet on, and I was like, because I work out at the port, and I was like, "Yo, why are you a Ravens fan?" He's like, "Nah, my cousin works or plays for them." I was like, "Oh, J.K. Dobbins," and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, damn!" I was like, "All right, okay, cool," and then we started chopping it up. But yeah, I'm really, really high on him. Hopefully he gets better. But I digress. I still like the Lad McConkey. I think that he's gonna be good. I do think we need to push him down a little bit. But Chris, what do you think?
So my concern with McConkey at this point over, I guess we can get into the picks that I would have like over him in a second. My concerns with McConkey this early goes more to the structure of the offense.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the guys that are currently sitting in front of him. Josh Palmer, who's been there for a while, we know he can work both inside and outside, all three levels of the field. It's not great, but at least he can work. He is serviceable, and he's already has an established rapport with Justin Herbert, so he's already solid. Quentin Johnston. They also brought in DJ Chark. I mean, these are tall outside receivers. And you mentioned Jim Harbaugh, but also Greg Roman of it all is also is a key portion to keep in mind, because this is also the same man, like when he was in Baltimore, since you mentioned that, Tip, that they were still running like this was the first season with Lamar Jackson. They were running like 2 tight end sets, like quite a bit relative to the rest of the league. And so you put 2 tight ends on the field. I mean, it's just a simple math game. You're adding one person to one skill position. You have to take away a person from another skill position. So I could see a situation where you get just two wide receivers out there on the field, like for the Chargers, and McConkey at 6 foot, $190 is not one of those wide receivers. It could be Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer is likely going to be one of those wide receivers. And then it could be a mix of Quentin Johnston if he takes the leap and he starts to show some promise. It could be DJ Chark because he has the veteran status. But it's not a guarantee that it's going to be McConkey. So that's my concern for him at this point. Just given it's not just the situation he finds him in because he has at least competition. I wouldn't say legit, because we've seen DJ Chark flame out at a couple of spots. Quentin Johnston bombed in his rookie season, and Josh Palmer is Josh Palmer. I mean, he could, I think talent-wise, he's probably the best wide receiver on that group. But schematically, does he really fit with how at least we think a Greg Roman offense is going to function? Do we think that he's going to fit with how John Harbaugh, and the fact that they said they want to run the ball and then potentially either throw deep or try and keep things, still use Justin Herbert the way that we think of him as being a guy that has a howitzer attached to his right shoulder? Does it really fit with Lad McConkey? I say no, or at least not immediately. So I guess compared to some of the other guys that are currently available, and then there's one guy in particular that I would put ahead of Lad McConkey at this point.
Name him.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams? Shoot, he was next. God.
I would put Caleb Williams ahead of McConkey.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? Let's transition to Caleb Williams real fast, because okay, so let's see. We're pushing Lad McConkey down, and we're also pushing Jonathan Brooks. We're consistently pushing him down as well. Sorry, buddy. But Caleb Williams, all right. So if we're moving him up, I'm not arguing with that, because obviously, I mean, I already had him there, basically right there. And a lot of people underestimate the need for a quarterback until you don't have one. And last year, specifically for either redraft, dynasty, or all that good stuff, there was, I believe it was week 9 and week 13 of a heavy bye weeks. And a majority of the quarterbacks were unavailable. And a lot of teams were starting. I've seen in dynasty playoff caliber teams starting backup quarterbacks in the quarterback slot because they couldn't get a starting quarterback in that slot. I traded a 2nd round pick for Russell Wilson just to put in that slot at one point, because you know what? I needed one. And my team, I felt like, was so good that I was going to win the championship, that who needs a 2nd rounder at the end of the draft, right? But that is going to happen, right? So you need a quarterback, and Caleb Williams, with the offense around him, with the weapons around him, potentially has that option. So Chris, give me how you would like to rank the new order, considering the changes.
So like the three guys that we were just talking about, or just
Yeah, the
like
three guys that we're talking about.
So between McConkey, Williams, and Brooks, or am I
Yes.
thinking of? Yeah, I would go Williams, Brooks, McConkey.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sound fair, Tip?
Yeah, no, it sounds fair, man. And I knew you were gonna talk about Russell Wilson. That's why I put the picture there, man.
Handsome.
You were on point there, bro. I knew it. I could just feel it.
Oh God, you nailed it. I can't stand his face. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, and I'm gonna keep it up here even more. I was gonna change it, but I'll just keep it up here.
No, good. All right. So enough of those. Enough of Russell Wilson specifically. Let's ride. Or I don't know what the Steelers logo.
Oh no, it's just you ever heard him? He said, "Here we go." Just
here we go.
Oh yeah,
because that's their moniker. Yeah, so he just says, "Here we go."
Lame.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, okay, this guy, Keon Coleman, he kind of goes into the slot by default, not because I like it, but because I don't feel like there's anything better. Because real fast, Keon Coleman's scouting report has trouble with separation. And I can't think of a wide receiver that succeeded in the NFL that has that tag of can't create separation. Chris, are you able to collaborate, or are you able to rebuttal that?
No, not really, because one of the guys that I really rely on and who's been something of a mentor to me, like just in the fantasy industry, Matt Harmon, who runs Reception Perception, also the co-owner of Reception Perception, James Coe, who also works with us in the Cookout group that Tip is a part of. They did a prospect profile on Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, his success rates against man, zone, and press coverage, or just man and press coverage, below the 20th percentile and below. This is not great. This is not great.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where to put him, and it's not good. But the problem is Josh Allen is his quarterback.
Josh Allen is his quarterback, and then he walks into a very nebulous situation because his direct target competition is Curtis Samuel, journeyman wide receiver that's typically played on the inside. He can be efficient, but he doesn't run like a full set of routes. I even believe last season when he was still in Washington, he was only running a route on let's say 70% of the drop of the dropbacks from Sam Howell. So it's not like he's going to be he's not a full-time wide receiver. But then also you've got Khalil Shakir. Shakir's been playing primarily on the interior as well, and he couldn't even earn targets. And that was with Stephon Diggs taking a step back over the back end of last season. That was with Gabe Davis not really earning a ton of targets. So now we're expected to say that, okay, well, you bring in Keon Cole, you lose Stephon Diggs, who was still earning 25, 26, 27% of the team's targets last season overall. And so we lose all of that volume. But yet you're going to try and replace it with two guys that are essentially part-time wide receivers. To me, that just that leaves a ton of room for a guy like Keon Coleman to take over that type of volume. At least in my mind, that's the way that looks like. Of course, they've got Dalton Kincaid, they've got Dawson Knox. They've got dudes, but I still see Keon Coleman as the easy front runner for the wide receiver one for that team, regardless of how bad he looks from a film and analytics perspective.
Mr. Tip.
Yeah, I'm in on Keon Coleman. I like him a lot, man. So this is what I agree. He's the target share. You just lost Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, who had a really nice target share amongst the both of them when they were on the field, particularly Stephon Diggs. So I think Keon Coleman comes into a situation where he is going to get the lion's share of the opportunities. Maybe not right away. And again, he's a rookie. Then I understand the speed, the separations issues. I understand the 40 time, which I can care less about that, but there's something about a football player. And when I watch the tape on Keon Coleman, and when I watch games on him, he is a football player. He is just physical. He is a grinder. And I think that's what the Bills wanted. That's why they traded I guess, down because they had it. If you ever go back, everybody goes back and looks at it, and that's what happened. They traded down to get Keon Coleman instead of Xavier Worthy in the draft, and a lot of people were making fun of it and things like that. I think the Bills knew what they wanted to do. I think they already had their eyes set on him, and they figured he wasn't going to get drafted in the first round or whatever the case may be. But I like him. I think he's into a good situation. Yes, Dalton Kincaid is there. I do think, and Dawson Knox is there. Dalton Kincaid, when he was playing last year, was a monster. When he was being, featured on this team, he did really, really well.
Trey McBride light.
Yes, but I do think Keon Coleman does carve a role in this offense for the simple fact that you have Khalil Shakir, who I like, and I was very high on. Once they got rid of Stephon Diggs, I was like, "Ooh, Khalil Shakir." I was like, "Ooh, man, that might be a sneaky good play." And then they got Curtis Samuel, and then I was like, "He's okay. I mean, he's got a flash in the pan." And then you got now Keon Coleman here, which I think that he could be one of those guys who gets 6 to 8 targets a game right out the gate, and maybe have a couple of double-digit target games where he's just getting fed. And then when they get down to the red zone, that they're not going to run the ball, at least with James Cook. They might with Ray Davis, but not with James Cook. And Josh Allen is going to try and run the ball in. I mean, that's what he does. But he is getting a little older. They want to keep him fresh for the whole year, for the whole, duration of his career. They may utilize some of this big weapon in Keon Coleman in the red zone, along with, those tight ends as well. So I like Keon Coleman. I think you have him at a really good spot, Nader.
All right, good. I'm going to pat myself on the back on that one. We're going to leave him there. And next after this one, I don't really like it, but I'm doing it. And it's going to be Brian Thomas Jr. I believe this is right. I think right now we're
wait, Nader, why don't you like it?
I just, the problem is, okay, all right, I'll talk about it for a quick moment just so I don't take up time. One, I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's mediocre at best. Two, they already have Christian Kirk. They just signed Gabriel Davis. Right now, he's number 3 on the depth chart. They got Evan Ingram. There's a lot in this offense. It's not like Christian Kirk's old. He's still kind of like middle-aged. He's still in there. He's got at least like 3 more years of high elite gameplay in it. Gabriel Davis, I mean, you already know what he is. He's a magician. He either puts up 30 or 0. Him, Brian Robinson Jr., but Gabriel Davis will always be on the field because he is a phenomenal run blocker. So he's cemented a role in that offense. Brian Thomas Jr., he hasn't really cemented anything. And Evan Ingram, obviously being the tenant, he's going to be in this offense. If they're running 3 wide receiver sets, sure, he'll be on the field. But I don't envision them doing that too often. And still wanting to run the ball with Travis Etienne. Trevor Lawrence has gotten hurt a handful of times so far. I just, in a tough division, I just don't think Trevor Lawrence is that great. Mr. Chris?
I guess the only pushback I would have for that is that to me, I think it's easy to see how Gabe Davis replaces Zay Jones and then Brian Thomas Jr. replaces Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Like historically, Brian Thomas, especially in his final season at LSU, I mean, he was just getting such deep bombs. I mean, just a high average depth of target, which fits what Calvin Ridley has done almost historically. Like his ADOT, even before he was injured, before he was suspended, 13, 14, 15-yard ADOT, fits with where Brian Thomas wins. Can also work at both as an intermediate route runner on digs and comebacks, but also he's like that corner, that out route guy, that guy that's running 9 routes. I mean, all of that, which not to say that's what Trevor Lawrence should be doing. They should really focus on his short and intermediate stuff so they can be a bit more efficient. But I kind of agree with you on the fact that that's kind of where they missed the boat on that. But either way, I mean, if Calvin Ridley, last season, even with all of the drop touchdowns and the missed touchdowns because his foot out of bounds and all that, I mean, Calvin Ridley still had a 22-23% target share. Yeah. So if Brian Thomas as a rookie can step into even most of that, so let's say you drop him down a few percentage points, because it's not like Gabe Davis is a high-end targeter. We were just talking about how little his role was from a passing standpoint. And of course, Christian Kirk is going to get his. I like Evan Ingram in his spot. He's one of my favorite tight end targets right now, for redraft purposes, and even in Dynasty, to be quite honest. But if Calvin Ridley, if that role, and you can almost see in the same vein, if we're we were talking about of how the Bills kind of looked at what was on the board in the draft. They knew they were losing, that they had lost like Stephon Diggs. And like, so now they needed to find at least like some viable replacement in this draft. I mean, the real replacement would have been the guys that were drafted in the first 5 or 6 picks. But if they wanted to try and get that replacement, then they did the same thing with Keon Coleman. The Jags did the same thing with Brian Thomas Jr. for Calvin Ridley, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So is he properly ranked right now?
Yeah, I think he's properly ranked. So at the back end of the first round, like for a dynasty, like 1 QB draft. Yeah, because the guys behind him, like who, like, do you really want what? Ricky Parasol, the 3rd, 4th, 5th pass catcher for the 49ers? I mean, Malachi Corley, the guy that's going to be catching passes from Aaron Rodgers potentially for 1 season or 2 seasons before Rodgers tries to hang it up. Xavier Legette, who's going to be like, again, the 3rd, 4th receiver for Bryce Young. It's not too many dudes. I mean, even Roman Wilson. I mean, Roman, you can that even still. No, because I won't even make the case for Roman Wilson, because yes, he'll be out there on the field. He'll be out there on the field opposite George Pickens, but with who's it going to be? The dude that you can currently see his face, because that's what Tip has as his, like, he's going to be catching passes from Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. So like, no.
Not good. Either one isn't good.
Yeah, I don't want any of that. So yeah, I would say that for as much as you don't like Trevor Lawrence, the situation for Roman Wilson is much worse. Situation for Ricky Parasol, much worse. So yeah, I'd say you've got him properly ranked.
All right, cool. I'm proud of myself on that one. That's another pat on the back. So Brock Bowers is next, and I know Tip, you mentioned it earlier. That he should be higher up. Well, I kind of disagree. Just because in recent years tight ends, they're just overdrafted, specifically in Dynasty. Maybe I'm just PTSD of Pitts and how disappointing he has been. That would be the polite way to say it. But I think almost all tight ends that have been drafted early have been disappointing. I don't necessarily have the statistics to back it up, but I'm going to use my conscious bias to say they've all been disappointing to further my point. But Brock Bowers in general, he's going in a weak offense. Actually, I shouldn't say a weak offense, a very weak quarterback situation.
Now, Nader. Hold on, you're talking
I know. That's why I'm being a little harsher, just because I know it hurts you a little bit. So they're going in a.
Hold on, man. I just met you, and you already coming to me with daggers.
I know. That's how
Let's see what time it is, bro.
So
I'm ready now.
I live in San Francisco, so I mean, I still hold hard feelings towards Oakland, the Raiders more specifically. But I mean, they're going into a significantly weak quarterback situation. Like Gardner Minshew's QB1 on that team, and the backup quarterback Aiden O'Connell, he shouldn't even be on that team. Honestly, like they should have drafted a quarterback. They should have traded up for a quarterback, not get Brock Bowers. Like he's not going to be in the NFL soon. 2, you got Devontae Adams, and I can't even name the other pass catches on their team, but there's there, and I know they're there. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. Jacoby Myers, that's wide receiver 2.
Trey Tucker.
There are pass catchers on that team, and an elite pass catcher on that team, and Devontae Adams. And because of that, like, I'm not high on Brock Bowers. Tip, I'll let you go first this time.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Nader, I hope that me and you can continue to be friends, but we are going to disagree on this one, and hopefully it doesn't come to fisticuffs when we meet face to face. But we are going to disagree on this one, bro. I mean, Brock Bowers is different, and you get to learn under one of the best, if not the best, wide receivers that's been in the league the past decade plus. It screams this dude is going to be just such a force, such a focal point in the upcoming years. Yes, I know that they spent an early pick on Michael Mayer last year. I get it. But now you get to run a 2 tight end set, which we just talked about. A lot of teams are going towards this. Look at what wait, are you a 49ers fan?
For the most part, yes.
Okay, so look at what your Niners just did yesterday by getting Logan Thomas, excuse me.
Who's he?
Look, it's a 2 tight end set. George Kittle is your guy. But look, it's a 2 tight end set that they're going to be looking to deploy as well. The Raiders are looking to do that. They're going to only help the quarterback, whoever that may be. I do feel like it is going to be Gardner Minshew to start off. But don't go in there and say that Aiden O'Connell is not good. He is a decent quarterback.
He's not good.
He was dealt a okay hand last year, and he was a rookie. He held his own against some of those teams.
You talked about how the Raiders beat the Chiefs last year. Didn't he not complete a pass in the second half?
Hey, we beat him. We beat him.
Your defense beat him.
No, we beat the Super Bowl champions.
He had, I think it was, what was it, 0 yards in the second half.
No, he did. He did not. He's a rookie, dude. And look, the Chiefs had one of the best defenses.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I understand it, but I'm just telling you, Brock Bowers needs to be higher on this list because he is going to be maybe not target number one. Obviously, Devontae Adams is there. Their run game has took a pretty big dip. You go from Josh Jacobs to now a combination of Zamir White, Amir Abdullah, and also Alexander Madison. They are going to try and establish the run with this offensive line, which I'm happy that they addressed in the draft. I felt like they could address a little bit more. But, hey, they saw an opportunity to get Brock Bowers. This guy is legit. I'm not going to use that G word that everybody and their mama tries to use these days. I'm not using it. But this guy is pretty damn close to that.
No, yeah.
This guy here, man. I mean, look at the film, look at the tape, look at the games, look at the pedigree. The guy is right there with some of the best tight ends that we've seen here recently, and he's going to be a fantasy superstar for years to come. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to beat out what Sam Laporta did last year. No, I'm not going to say that because Jared Goff is a damn good quarterback, and you got Amon-Ra St. Brown there too. But this guy, this Brock Bowers, does need to be legitimately considered for being in the at least top 5 in a dynasty league because he's just going to be set apart year after year after year for the upcoming years. And I will say this. I like Gardner Minshew. I think that the guy is a gunslinger. I think that he is what the team need to push the ball because that defense is going to be even better this year than it was last year because we added Christian Wilkinson, and we all know what he did in Miami. As long as this guy is healthy, as long as his defensive line is healthy, this defensive line going to be something to deal with. And you better be ready, Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs, because he's going to be getting touched every single play.
Pause.
But I will say, but I am really high on Brock Bowers, man. I think that, again, we are talking dynasty. This upcoming year, I'm still really high on him, but dynasty, I'm telling you. I think you're all wrong on this one, Nader. You're all wrong.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to list the tight ends that have not necessarily panned out early in the draft, right? So let's go. Evan Ingram, OJ Howard, Mike Gesicki, Hayden Hurst, Irv Smith, Noah Fant, T.J. Hawkinson kind of has a mini revival, but still. Cole Kmet.
All of
he's
those
questionable. He's questionable.
All of those
Kyle Pitts.
Maybe T.J. Hawkinson and maybe Kyle Pitts.
Greg Dolch so far. I mean, so in the recent draft, Sam Laporta, Dalton Kincaid have been good.
He is on a different level than these other than I will say Kyle Pitts, I will say T.J. Hawkinson. He came from Iowa. That's tight end U. Look, other than those two guys, this kid, all those other names that you named off don't even compare to Brock Bowers.
Those are first round draft picks.
They don't compare to him. This dude is a different beast, bro.
Yeah, but is he a different beast but same animal?
No, he's a different beast and a different animal. He's a different alien. Whatever you want to call it. Shit, the dude, I'm telling you right now, they're going to run this 2 tight end set, and you are going to be eating your words, bro. And I can't wait.
Somebody's got to throw him the football. Somebody's got to throw him the football.
Gardner Minshew, look at what Gardner Minshew
he ain't throwing no football.
Indianapolis.
He ain't throwing no football.
Oh, come on, bro. If anything, that is what Gardner Minshew does. He's a gunslinger. He is not afraid to throw that football. And that's what he's going to do. To the other team. I'm telling you, man, you're all wrong on this one, brother.
All right. So I think Chris also I think Chris also agrees with me, or not with me, with Tip, that I probably ranked him a little bit too low.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Ladd McConkey earlier.
Yeah.
Hyped about his potential ability to take on some targets until I put some cold water on that too. But both McConkey and Brock Bowers played for the same college program, correct? Georgia?
Yeah.
Georgia Bulldogs, Go Bulldogs?
I believe so.
All 3 seasons, 2021, 2022, 2023, that Brock Bowers played with Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers earned the same or more targets than Ladd McConkey in all 3 seasons. 2023, he had a 21% target share. Ladd McConkey had a 13% target share. They tied in 2022, 2021. Brock Bowers had a 19% target share, and Ladd McConkey had a 10% target share. He was out earning the wide receivers in his own college offense. Wide receivers that earned, Ladd McConkey that we were talking about, earned high-end draft capital. Brock Bowers was better than those dudes. I mean, I struggle with the situation. And Nader, I'm definitely with you on the, let's say the quarterback quality. And I'll just leave it at that.
Nice. There we go. I'm glad we're on the same page on that one. Yeah. Okay.
But I would say,
watch it, Chris.
I would say, but this dude can clearly earn targets at a rate that is different than those guys, and also the fact that he's coming from a good program.
Yes,
like this is a competitive.
They got him
program.
prepared for the NFL. Yeah,
I mean, this is from a good program, playing with other, at least clearly, at least one other high-end receiver. If we're talking about Ladd McConkey, like being a guy that we want to go and draft with our early round dynasty picks, and Brock Bowers is like just running circles around him in terms of earning targets. Like we have to take that into account. That's all.
So right now, Pitt has him at pick 4. You have him at pick what?
I would put him at, let's see, going where everybody, like the other guys that we talked about, I'd put him in like the 6th range.
Okay.
Where did we put Worthy at? Was that 5, 6?
Yeah, he was.
That was 5.
Worthy was 5.
Worthy was 5. I'd put Bowers at 6, somewhere in there. 6, 7, somewhere in there.
Okay, fair enough. Worthy also could have been shifted at 4 as well. But
yeah, so I think somewhere in there is fair, because and at the very least, regardless of what you think about like just tight end prospects and like how long it takes to learn the position and blah blah blah, but just think about just like the value of the tight end position in fantasy in general.
In general, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty shallow, but it's shallow for a reason, because there isn't good ones.
Right. So it takes a while. Like again, we can talk about like how long it took. I mean, we were talking about like Trey McBride earlier. Like how long? I mean, he didn't hit in his rookie season. It took him a whole year. Like he sat behind Zach Ertz for a while. I mean, it takes a second, and that was in arguably a worse situation for him, because that was when Kyler Murray was injured and was all this stuff going on. So it's like, I get it, but just like the inherent volatility that comes with the tight end position, where it's like I would just rather make the bet on talent, and Brock Bowers clearly has that talent, and just let situation just be whatever it is, because we just never know how a situation is going to work out for a tight end, because all tight ends really need to do is like catch the football and then fall into the end zone. That's all we need them to do. So if Brock Bowers can do that, if he can earn targets in this offense, which I think he's not better than Devontae Adams. He's definitely better than Jacoby Myers. Definitely better than Trey Tucker.
Hope so.
I think he's better than Michael Mayer.
Hope so.
So it's like if he can surpass like all of those dudes, which I don't think it's going to take him all that long to do, then I don't care about the quarterback quality. I don't care about. I mean, David Njoku was just like ripping down the scene with Joe Flacco not like 6 months ago.
So talking smack about Joe Flacco?
Yes, he's terrible.
Oh, he's elite.
Not the comeback player of the year.
That man didn't give a shit. He was just like, I'm going out in a blaze of glory. Just everybody just run. Like we're just sending 4 verts like down the field. We're gonna turn the shit into Madden. Yeah, we're just gonna roll. Like, yeah, he's just gonna throw the shit out of his arm and that's it. And they turned David Njoku into a star, and that's all that matters. So it's like we can't claim to know that a bad quarterback situation is going to be what brings a tight end down, because most folks looked at that. Oh, Joe Flacco with David Njoku? There's no way that's going to work out. And then look what happened.
People aren't realizing, and I posted this a while back. People aren't realizing the differentiation that Njoku had when Deshaun Watson was there and when Joe Flacco was there. And I'm telling people,
it's night and day.
Don't be fooled by that, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you didn't have David Njoku ranked in your top 10 or whatever," and I was like, "Look at the differentiation between the two. Joe Flacco made David Njoku. I'm not gonna say made him, but he did boost him last year. He helped.
All right, we'll leave him there. And we're going to do last but not least. And unfortunately for you guys, you're not going to get to argue with me on this one. One, because I just know I'm right.
All right.
I just know I'm right. Like Trey Benson, he's going to be last. Like he's last, the first pick. He's that guy. One, you don't get to argue with me on this one. Two reasons. One, I got to use the bathroom. So you just don't get the ability to argue with me.
All right.
Two, he is the running back that has, like Chris talked about earlier, he has one of the best potentials to becoming the RB1 for a long time in an offense that is high octane, that gives running backs receptions and gives them those PPR points. He is going to be that guy. The honorable mention, unfortunately, you guys are going to potentially disagree with me on this one, is Ricky Pearsall, just because
he's close.
It's just not feasible for the Niners to pay a quarterback. Their salary cap just does not allow them to keep one of the wide receivers that is either Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk. It just can't happen. So if that's going to be the case, then Ricky Pearsall is going to just quickly ascend into a relevant role. And somebody in a Shanahan's offense is somebody that I want.
I'm sold.
Sold?
No argument. No notes.
Yeah. Good.
I love Trey Benson.
There we go. So, of course, that's going to have to wrap up this episode. It did take a quick minute. I mean, we are an hour and 15 minutes in, but hey, that's going to be the sweet spot of that episode. So, of course, real quick, before I wrap it up, Chris, can you tell where everybody can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Allen FFWX. You can find all my writing over at Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life, free newsletter. And actually, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, June 5th, that'll be the edition that I write. So go and check that out. But if not, just go ahead and subscribe, catch all the work we're doing. Fantasy Life podcast, me and Ian Harditz and Dwayne McFarland comes out every Friday. Lots more other content like come on the way, from best ball to dynasty to redraft. We'll have all that stuff coming over the off season. So yeah, come check us out, fantasylife.com.
Mr. Tip, how about yourself?
Yeah, Tippmajor. That's where I am on Twitter. Try to do a little bit of stuff on Instagram as well, Discord. But I love Twitter. I love the community. I love the cookout community. Chris Allen's amazing. Nader, you're cool, bro. You're cool. I'm not gonna say amazing because you talk about my Raiders a little too much. But you know what, man? You are a good guy. I really appreciate you having me on. This was a blast. I would love to do it more with you, man. But yeah, that's where you can find me, at Tippmajor. It's simple. My name, Tippmajor. That's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would recommend people follow my Twitter, but the problem is I have an addiction where I look up people who bought a ridiculous amount of a specific stock. And if it goes down, I go and kick them while they're down.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's what I've been doing lately. It's a lot of fun. I feel really bad. Actually, I don't. It's funny. But I don't want people trolling me while I'm doing that. So please don't follow me on Twitter.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, other than that, hey, good luck, everybody.
I'm ready. I'm ready for all today. Throughout